What's up, y'all? My name is Dumptruck, and this is Chasing the Ride, brought to you by Rider Justice. I am joined by the founder, Scott O'Sullivan, of the O'Sullivan Law Firm. And pretty much everybody loves you here. Is either that or you're stocking the pond big time. We've got some great representation
stocking
here.
The pond,
yeah. I mean, who doesn't like fishing? Come on.
Yeah, that's right.
Boring people do. But we've got AK Cycles, which has been known for a while now as being a go-to spot to make sure that your shit runs right and probably looks pretty cool. and it's also
somewhat right.
It's also rightish.
Right-ish, right enough.
Good as we can.
And then we've got Joe here from Vanity Motors as well. And these are some of my favorite interviews because they know automatically more about motorcycles than I do.
Yeah,
I just
way
talk
more than I
about
do.
them.
Yeah.
So one of the first questions that we've been starting everything off with is everyone has a different relationship to motorcycles. Where did yours start? And then we'll follow up with you.
That's a great question. Man, I started working for Harley when I was 16, just washing bikes. I just wanted a job. I was in high school. I had an uncle that rode, and my grandpa had a little Honda Trail 70. Remember the little... And I grew up on that, but wasn't ever really around motorcycles. I think it was a thing of like, well, my parents don't like them, so I should like them. And I started watching bikes and really got into the Harley culture in St. Louis. It was just like all Harleys and straight roads. And
a lot of drag racing.
A lot of drag racing, totally. Yeah, you know. And worked for Harley for a long time, went to school for welding and fab, and then came back to Harley, went to MMI and learned other bikes and stuff. I went to school for Desmo and Italian bikes, and then when I moved to Colorado, I worked for Foothills because the Euro bikes were like the last piece of the puzzle. I've just always had a fascination, but mostly like vintage bikes. There's something about carbureted. So there's something about when like a carbureted
a bike that really hates to run, you know.
You know, but like an old shove or something where you like flick the throttle twice and you hold the starter and you kick it and you do all the little things and the carb is running good and you're going down the road and you're like, it's running good because I made it run good. There's no fuel injection. It's Stone Age. So there's just something cool about that.
Is that what you focus on now? You've gone to the vintage side of life?
Yeah, man, I think if I could make a full career out of just vintage bikes and stuff, totally, but I work on new bikes, sport bikes, tire changes, the cash flow stuff. But
I mean, you gotta pay bills.
You gotta pay bills,
that's a thing,
man. Yeah.
Like, especially when they keep rising.
No, and I'm new, so when I first opened my first location back in just past April, Alex was like the go-to. He's like a mentor to me. He was extremely welcoming. I owe a lot of the whole piece of my business to Alex, so it's been great to see.
How does that feel, like to have a position of being a mentor that you...
Weird.
Right? Yeah, it's like, it's a goal of mine.
I'm not good at this. Like, I'm just kind of nice, I think. It's fun. I like it. It's, like, there's enough out there for everybody.
Yeah.
We don't need to be assholes about this.
No, there's so many other things to be assholes about.
Legitimately. I can't do it all, I'm just one guy. So like sending all the things to whoever I can send them to, I get to be picky a little bit, which is kind of nice, but like I only send him gold wings now. So
now it's become like I choose what I like to work on and the shit work, send it to Joe. I'm kidding.
That's exactly what I was doing.
That's why, is that mentorship or what do we call that?
Paying your dues.
Hazing.
Yeah, that's right. I had to look to my lawyer for that one. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
So when did your life intersect with motorcycles?
Oh man, my uncle had one. Got in a wreck. Was in a coma. The whole deal. So my dad, who rode Nortons and BMWs forever, sold all his bikes because mom was like, "You're done," And then I had a Briggs & Stratton mini bike that I think I hounded him for years to get running, and I had like fixed pegs on it, so you couldn't really turn or you just rode that, and then I think I was like 19. I bought my first bike, which was an MV Agusta, like an old TR-125 in 1954, because I'm an idiot. And
because you wanted to learn about motorcycles.
Yeah, that's it.
Plenty of parts available.
Yeah, I wanted parts. I wanted easy Italian things. Yeah.
That's right.
And rebuilt it and restored the whole thing, and then it just kind of stopped. I mean, it just went. I did Vespas before that too, like old Vespas, because
Vespas are cool, especially if they're made out of metal.
They're so much fun. But yeah, I mean, I've just kind of always been around. My dad was a mechanic, did BMW cars, so I've been around it forever, just not the bike side.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get laid. and look cool. So I did motorcycles.
Did it work?
God, no.
It worked on a lot of motorcycles.
Worked on a lot of
I'm still
motorcycles.
trying to learn how to play guitar. Maybe that's gonna help.
I did a band too.
I figured.
So it kind of was like a double whammy there.
I like it.
Yeah. But yeah. That's
Cool.
I absolutely love it. That's cool. Like everybody's got a very different way they're connected to it. I wasn't brought up. I didn't have a lot of knowledge shared with me on like mechanics or any of those kinds of things. They existed, but someone thought they had a different life path for me. I had a lot more white collar in it, and all I ever wanted to do was, can you show me how to fix this or do that? The first car I wanted was something. He goes, oh, you're gonna have to work on that. I'm like, yeah. That sounds awesome. And like whenever I was actually able to get to the military and learn how to wrench, I finally got to start to get some of that confidence where I could be like, okay, cool. I'm just gonna take this apart and take notes and put all the little parts in this little baggie and then put it back together and see how it goes.
Yep.
And as long as I kept it that simple, I never had really any problems going deeper into the motorcycle.
Yeah.
But if you don't put them in that little baggie,
I mean, one of the things we've never talked about on this podcast is my introduction was it was a moped that my dad had to drive. He got a DUI. Whoops. And
the Boozer
had
Cruiser.
had to use the moped, and it was Italian.
Piaggio?
I think it was a Piaggio. No, those are bicycles, or maybe it was. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It was the same issue.
Okay.
You got to figure out how to work on it.
Yeah.
I was constantly working on the carburetor. I was constantly taking it apart. I grew up with him. He was a Chevy dealer, working on cars, working on our tractors, making the snowmobiles work and stuff like that. And that was kind of I rode that thing like it was a dirt bike and beat the bejesus out of it and had so much fun with it, jumping stuff and doing stuff. And that's kind of that was really the intro for me. And thinking of the Italian parts, like there's no parts. We just would kind of get it back together somehow. Make it work. That's exactly right. I spent a lot of time making
wire coat hangers can go a really long way sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, makeshift tools. Yeah.
My favorite makeshift tool, a buddy of mine, Steve Coso, showed me how you could pump up the tire through a spark plug cord.
Yep.
And I was just like, I travel with that so much, and I travel with a hose on a fuel-injected Harley gas tank fitting. So if I run out of fuel, I can go to one of these guys with a bagger and just unplug their quick release and go.
Smart move.
That is
Yep.
smart move.
So it's either spark plug or fuel fitting, same tube.
Yep.
Right.
Which is empty, my gas tank or my tire?
Or both.
Yeah, or both.
Or both.
I'm prepared.
Yeah.
Maybe I got to put more gas in it so I can pump my tire up.
And if you're riding a Harley, something's going to go wrong.
Yeah, you're damn right. If
Yeah.
you're riding a motorcycle, something's gonna
If it's
go
not
wrong.
leaking oil, that's bad.
Yeah.
If it's leaking oil, there's oil in the
Like, I
bike.
can trust you. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is tub it up.
Well, that's the whole point, right? Is no one. When I graduated from like welding and fab school, I was great. I could lay down a nice TIG bead, whatever. And then I got my first welding job. I worked on the railroad just a little bit before I went back to Harley. And as soon as I got the job, I was like, oh, this confidence, I'm the best, I know everything. And I got the job and I'm like, I don't know shit. They prepared me to get a job.
Yeah.
So you make mistakes and you learn, there's trial and error. And I think that's like the most important part of what we do is we're gonna make mistakes. We can't be perfect, but if we stand by our customers, we have good customer service, come back in, I'll get it right, whatever. That's, I think, the most important thing.
And we heard about the mentoring stuff, but we didn't actually hear about your shop, which I've heard about for years. But tell me more about
the OG.
AK Cycles. Yeah,
So,
exactly.
I used to be part of a shop called 3 Pence Moto.
Oh, yeah.
We did a bunch of show bikes, kind of did like the hand-built one show thing, all that.
Yeah.
Been there, seen it.
We
Yeah,
started in
magazine
Denver.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did Denver stuff. We're just a full service shop, and kind of tried to take care of people and fill a niche that wasn't there with like vintage stuff to Harleys to like whatever kind of you had. And that's the thing, like there's goofy stuff out there that no one will touch. And we were like, we'll do it. Like made a name for ourselves doing that. My business partner had a baby and got responsible, so he left to make real money.
Yeah, adorable baby.
Real fun.
And then I just kept it going, changed the name because it was his baby originally. So
Gotcha.
And then I've just been doing my thing. I work
nice.
on everything that pretty much comes in except Gold Wings, which I send to Joe. But yeah, it's I like the challenge of goofy shit. So that's kind of my bread and butter, and like
puzzle it out.
Yeah, figuring stuff out.
Yeah.
What would you say you love the challenge of goofy shit? Like, what would be like the goofiest thing you said yes to? Like, I can totally fix that. I don't know what I'm doing.
I've got a Riga, which is like a Soviet era moped
Whoa.
in right now that I can't get parts for because of issues on that side of the country.
Wait,
or
we
that
don't
side
get
of the
along
world.
with them? That's weird.
Yeah.
It's strange. So there's that.
Is it
and
not just sheet metal cut with shears?
It is, but the pistons are a little bit beefier. And then I actually have a 19, I think it's a 57 DKW in the shop, which if you
I don't even know what you're talking
unfamiliar.
about.
DKW was a German company that eventually became part of Auto Union, which became Audi. So if you look at it, it says DKW and it's got the 4 Audi rings on the tank.
Cool.
And it's
That's
super
pretty
good.
rad.
Also really easy to get parts for.
Is that a customer bike?
Yeah.
That rules.
Yeah, it's that guy's dad's office forever. And he was like, "That's weird. Like you kick it and there's no compression." And I pulled the top end off and there's no piston. So
Well, that'll
just
do
a
it.
broken rod
There's
sticking
a trick
out.
there.
Yeah. So that's goofy stuff.
So what do
Yeah.
you do whenever you're looking for some of those parts that are obsolete and don't exist? Like, are you gonna like try to cast something based off of a drawing?
No.
Like,
That's too much work.
yeah.
eBay, honestly.
Yeah.
And like the really goofy stuff, European eBay, like Italian eBay, German
Interesting.
eBay,
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that. You just got to know how to search and what to do, and you can find pretty
Wait,
much
there are
super
other
trade.
eBays.
There's so many eBays, so many eBays.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's good
You get a
stuff.
6-pack
It's
of beer
amazing.
and
Yeah.
Polish eBay. That's a good
Whatever
weekend.
rabbit hole I go down after this,
It's
I
bad.
blame you.
That's why it's
for.
like you could go to jail.
Yeah, they got some
It's
stuff.
gonna take me 30 minutes to get over. There's more eBay.
Yeah. Poor eBays.
Oh, man.
But yeah, and then finding good machinists that can make whatever you need. That's good.
Yeah.
It's, at that point, it's budget, but
You have a
Yeah,
steady
no.
relationship going with that.
yeah. I got actually Paul, who was on here earlier, is
Yeah.
also a machinist. So
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
All rules.
gonna be making
Killjoy.
stuff. Yeah, Killjoy.
met Paul this
Yeah, it's awesome.
He thinks he's one. He's not.
Oh, I know.
He's a great guy.
He's
Him
funny.
and
He's
Mariah
just
are
nice. Exactly. There was the cutest show we just had with them.
They're adorable.
Yeah, I mean, we had
it was so fun.
We
had couples
babysat.
therapy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. You were
We
babysitting.
babysat
That's
stuff,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
That,
And you
if I
survived.
could piggyback on that real quick, though,
No.
okay, moving on. It's the knowing people, right? Like knowing Alex is huge. I'll call him up all the time, like, dude, what is this? How do you do this and that or whatever? I'm not a genius.
You haven't
savant
blocked the number
like
yet?
Alex.
Yeah.
I keep getting new ones. I'll send him.
Slide in DMs.
The other day was a carrier pigeon with a note. It was like, please help.
That's right, yeah.
I don't paint. I don't, little fabrication, but like making parts and stuff. There's always someone that can do it better. There's always someone that could do, but
Yeah.
if we all get along, like you said,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
always bikes to
Yes.
go around
That's
for all
right.
of us, all the
Yeah.
cool shops around here.
Yes.
Oh, I don't paint. 10 of these guys, they're paint pros.
Yeah.
You got a dirt bike, 2-stroke, whatever. These are the dirt bike guys.
Yeah, yeah.
If we're all,
Yeah. Totally.
it makes sense.
We help each other out too. It's like you said, like he calls me for stuff all the time. I call people for all the time. I'll call him for stuff. Like if I don't know, like somebody else does.
Yeah,
it's
that's
good to
right.
be able to have
Yeah.
this like huge wealth of information in Denver that like everyone's cool. Like we all get along and understand that there is plenty of it out there. So,
Yeah, but it's like,
Yeah.
I love how there's no way to have a motorcycle conversation without having a community conversation.
Yeah. That's
Like,
the
there
theme
just-
that runs through everything
there
for us.
isn't.
Yeah.
Like, otherwise,
Yes.
it's really an individual experience, but it's almost a universal bond. Like
Yeah.
it's same but different.
What are motorcycles without people? It's just,
They're just statues, sculptures.
Yeah.
One of the earlier podcasts we had yesterday, the question or the answer was really, if you want a motorcycle, you're going to find new friends. You better be ready to have new friends, and you got to be open to it. You got to say yes to that.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to just be by yourself. Because then the thing's just going to sit in the garage. You're not going to ride
Yeah,
it.
you're not going to ride it nearly as
Yeah.
much.
Then it goes on Facebook as a Harley that only has
Or one of
4,000
the
miles.
eBays. Yeah,
that's right,
Or
if that.
one of the eBays.
yeah.
I'm serious. I'm about to look up some stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
eBay.de. That's the one.
Yeah.
I'm finding the right bike.
Yeah, right, yeah, and that's another thing we were talking about before. Then we haven't really been asked, like, what is in your personal garages that you guys have? And I know you found a new passion. We'll talk about that in a second. But like, what's in your personal garages, and how many, or probably too many.
Too many.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
What do you ride three? The daily or the top three that you bust out often?
So I have a Harley FXR, and that's like the
What
go-to.
year?
89.
Nice.
It's
Yeah.
currently completely apart in my shop.
So it is
Yeah,
an
yeah.
FXR.
It's that F stands for fixing.
Fixer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then I had
I have a 91.
Yep.
Waiting on my starter.
Yep. That'll my wife and I just went out to Tail of the Dragon this last summer, and we bought her an FXR. It's an 85. We did nothing to it. Like I put a carb on it, tires, and an oil change. Like that was it. Mine, I put a new motor in. I did all this work. Riding from her parents' house to the Tail of the Dragon, an hour in, mine blows up. Hers that we didn't do anything to, great the whole time.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it was perfect,
Yeah,
but mine
yeah.
was up. And then I had a 75 shovelhead that I actually just sold. But those were like the 2 daily scooting around on.
Gotcha, nice.
Having fun.
Yeah.
But.
Wouldn't it be weird if your Harley never blew up, though?
Honestly, it'd be weird if all of my motorcycles never blew up.
Vonnegut had a little piece about how he smoked unfiltered Camels for like 40, 50 years and never had any side effects, and he's like, something's not right. I need to sue, I think. I got a Harley with no problems.
Effects.
What the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
What's your daily?
Oh, man. I have a bunch of bikes. Some are dog shit and some work. I've got a Honda CBR 954 Fireblade that is 2002. It's like particularly light. It's lighter than my 600 that I like a lot. I've got an old shovelhead that can't be dailied or ridden like more than around the block ever.
Right.
I'm really passionate about the BMW Boxer engine.
Yeah.
I've got a bunch of old, like, the weird models. There was the one that was in GoldenEye that was kind of a cruiser.
Yes.
And shit like
That's a
that.
funny
But
reference, by the way.
That was
no, like all through.
That is a
No
very,
shit.
very
Yeah.
hideous
Yeah.
motorcycle, by the way.
Were you
Yeah.
5 years
Yeah,
old? when
you're
that
like
movie came
2?
out?
Yeah.
Who's to say?
Bond is forever.
No, but I even like working at Harley for the longest time. I was like not a Harley guy, and it made sense in the Midwest because there wasn't twisties and whatever.
Right.
I was into sport
Yeah.
bikes, and well, that's why like when I worked at Harley, when I was in sales for a while, we weren't salesmen, we were fit specialists. Like let us fit you to the right bike.
Right.
So there's so many bikes, like you said on Facebook or Craigslist or whatever. Where it's like I didn't like it. I'm like, well, have you tried X, Y, and Z? And I didn't like Harleys, and then I got one, and I was like, oh yeah, give it the beans a little bit. That's it. That's the ticket. So anything, sport bikes, touring. I don't do a ton of dirt bikes and stuff. I got into supermoto and like track stuff recently.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I never tried, and now I'm in love with it. So there's like always
Those
something.
are like street-ready trial bikes, basically. Like,
Yeah.
You could do any. They're like
I'd
a
go to
paintbrush.
jail.
The little
with a motor
wheels.
in the
I would go to
middle
jail
of
if I had a supermoto.
it. Man.
Yeah, you get in
right. Oh,
trouble.
that is awesome.
Yeah,
Easily.
I cannot.
Yeah.
Nope, I can't help myself.
So are you at the level where you're like scraping your whole body going around the corner as you're drifting through and then picking it back up?
No, I got a knee down for the first time recently, which was
Nice.
cool.
Yeah.
I
That's
started
really cool.
on a
Yeah.
Honda CBR 600 RR that I got from Derek with Vanna.
Yeah.
With the fiberglass and all that, and it's really light.
Yeah.
But I've been going out to this track called IMI up here in Erie, and it's first and foremost a go-kart track.
Yep.
So it's not fast, but it's really tight turns, and I was really stiff on that bike. But I've got a little monkey 125 that I put clip-ons and stuff, and then I went and broke down like the mental barriers of like getting low and all that, and I'm like, oh, okay, and then I got in the 600, I'm like, I can do this, and so I'm learning.
You do that with the 600 on that track? I've been on that track.
A couple turns. It's even the 600 and CBRs are light for 600s, but
Yeah.
it's still pretty heavy for that. Most the fast guys they're on supermotos.
That
Yeah,
track
yeah,
is
yeah.
450s.
That's a sad
Wow.
track.
But it's fun. It's a good. I'm kind of hooked up with the guys at HPR, and so once they kind of open that back up and it's warm, I'll get out there, and that's like a
Yeah.
proper track.
Yeah, yeah.
And we love motorcycles forever, but there's times where I call Alex and I'm like, I fucking hate motorcycles. I'm never working on one again. So
Right.
finding like these new avenues, never thought I'd be in a track, and now it's like all I think about.
Re-energize it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, refuel, find something new. There's always something. So
Yeah, definitely. I have found the need over the years. I've been in the motorcycle industry for like over 15 years, and it's like, yeah, it's one of the coolest rooms to live in. But even that needs another jolt of excitement from time to time, whether it's learning a new
Well
skill, like defining a motorcycle in a different way. Like that's what superbike is a whole other different definition of a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Than your street bike or your Harley or cruiser or whatever like that. And it's fun. Like I had a partnership. We were talking about the Boxer motor. I had a partnership with BMW, and I got to ride the hell out of an R18 all over the place.
cool, dude.
And it was different,
Yep.
and unique, and refined in a different way, and a different experience. And
Yeah.
I was like, cool, I'm back out of here.
that's
again.
cool.
Like, let's
That's
rack
actually
up
what
some
this one
miles and
is.
go. Yeah.
The push rods and that's cool, man.
Yeah.
Was that when the R18 first came out?
Yeah, I think the one that I have is 21. So I think
Oh,
it
nice.
came out in 20.
Oh, you own one?
Yes.
Oh, which one do you have?
I have the R18, but it's done some custom things to it. So I got
Oh, just
custom
the
wheels,
R18.
Like you do.
Yeah.
Cool, dude.
Like you do. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got
Right.
custom sissy bar. I mean, it's like
It's a work of art.
it very much is. Like even like underneath the tank, it's like very finished. The parts that you don't see still matter, and I
Yeah.
like that intent of design that way.
Yeah,
it's
the
it's
intent.
it's a custom approach, I think, because that's usually what happens with custom. You look at something stock and you go, how can I make that better? How can I make that? It's also in my opinion, why the Germans don't understand why we can't keep our hands off of shit, because they built a perfect motorcycle.
Yeah,
right.
I was
It doesn't
like,
need
perfect for
anything.
you,
What
buddy.
does this?
Right?
Yeah. I was with BMW when those came out. I was a salesman for BMW.
Yeah,
and,
I always try to tell them that you need aftermarket support. Like,
Yeah.
especially in the States, because we're going to want to change it for the sake of changing
it just has to be what I like.
It's
It's
gotta be
got to be different from what he has and he has. But
Right.
it's to like 2021 when they did the Founders Edition or First Edition,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
How hard is it to get into the cruiser market in the 21st century? I mean, like Harley and Indian, and then you've got the Metro Cruisers that kind of clean up the scraps. Moto Guzzi had that, what was the MGX 21? They called it the Flying Fortress. I don't know if you remember. It was a fucking
don't.
cool cruiser
Yeah,
with
I
the
think
transfer
it
feed twin. It's awesome. Full fairing with the bags. It's awesome.
shit.
It came and went in the
Bombs.
blink of an eye.
Yeah.
It's flat.
Yeah.
Because who's buying BMW? And all due credit to BMW, they have great. I'm not. This is not a diss here, but it was just tough to sell because
It's, I think the hardest
At
part
the
about
beginning.
it is there's so
Yeah.
much brand loyalty here to
Yes.
domestic brands, which I'm not against at all. But a negative side effect of that is it closes off your motorcycle experience.
Yeah.
To where, like, I mean, why are we doing this podcast? So that people get to know us. So
Right.
people get to understand what Rider Justice is about, what we're trying to support ourselves. Like, it's the same thing. Like, you have to give the
Yeah.
OEs, BMWs, the Moto Guzzis, like, they need to come over here and introduce
And
themselves.
Gullwing and like all
yeah,
Oh,
no,
man.
totally.
Some of the fastest guys I've ever seen have been on Gold Wings.
Exactly.
I can't keep up with those guys in the
Yeah.
mountains on like whatever bike I'm on.
Yeah, they're engineered
gnarly.
super well.
They are, and their bags are like worn down and
Yeah.
shred.
And they don't
Yeah.
break, apparently.
That's
I've heard
it.
about it.
That's a big deal.
When I first met Alex, it was. I mean, look at him. He's a Harley guy. You look at him, and then I was like, "So what are you really into?" And he's like, "I like MV Agusta sport bikes."
Yeah.
Who likes MV? Someone
Yeah.
you showed like a layman an MV Agusta and like that Ducati's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Who's in that?
Yeah.
I like goofy stuff. Yeah,
Right.
totally. I ride Harleys because they're fun, but I ride everything. Honestly, I think that's the coolest part of what we do is like
Yeah.
I get to ride everything.
Yeah.
And like I've ridden a lot of cool bikes. In fact, like the AMCA guys were here this weekend, and one of the members has a Nimbus, which is a super bizarre
Yeah.
like
Cool.
Danish motorcycle.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can get around it. You can scoot around on it. I'm like,
That's
oh, people
awesome.
trust me enough to let me ride
Yeah.
insanely rare motorcycles.
Yeah.
Into it.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
down.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's always a cool
Yeah.
moment to see those old, like, weird bikes fire off.
Oh, it's wild.
Because, like, everyone's around stops talking for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, you'll be in a conversation where you hear go off and
Yeah, what was that?
a
Yeah.
little drool comes outside.
Yeah. That's right.
Wow, there's so much soul to those, especially the limited edition ones, the ones that the companies haven't existed for 100 years almost. Like,
Oh,
there's
heck
just something special about it because there's a quirk. Like, someone had their way of doing it.
Yep.
And it's just the uniqueness, the variety of it is what I've enjoyed about my most recent motorcycle experience and being able to do what you guys do. It's like embedded not only into your business plan, but into every other aspect of your life, and that's pretty damn rad. I
Yeah.
mean, it's an easy way to stay excited about it.
It is.
Totally.
It is, for sure. Being at the bar, you'll go out and then everyone wants you to ride their shit. So that's the only problem is they're like, hey man, you should ride my bike. And it's like, dude, no, I've had like a beer. I'm not touching your motorcycle.
that's
They're like, no man, it's
exactly
fine.
right.
Like you need to come
Yeah.
ride this. I'm like, I'm good.
No.
I don't.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Not
I'm
today. Yeah.
Bring it by the shop.
Yeah,
I'll ride it by
sign
the
my
shop.
waiver.
Yeah.
We'll get in
Yep.
business.
Exactly.
I've got a lawyer for that.
That's what I was telling Shuri. It's like ever since I got hooked up with Rider Justice, I've been riding a lot more reckless because I know they got my back. It's okay.
To be clear, I can't fix stupid.
We could try.
We could
How
try.
did the connection happen? How did y'all all get involved with each other?
I think was it through Food Dog or through how did it start?
I think it was at Revit, possibly.
Revit- oh, I
It's the
think
same
you're
time
right.
when there was
Yeah.
when Revit first came to Denver.
Yes. I think you're right.
It was just around the time I just opened up my first shop.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, I was timid. I knew there was the heavy hitters, Food Dog. Definitely, I knew about Alex for a long time, and I was
Yeah.
like, I hope they don't think I'm stepping on their toes.
Right,
And I approached his friend from the other night. I
Yeah.
approached him thinking it was Alex because he had an AK hat on. I was like, "Are you AK Cycles?" And he was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"No." And then that was it. And I was like, "Oops." Oh, cool. And then you were like, or something like, "I am." And I was like, "Hey, I just want to say I'm kind of new in the neighborhood, but I've always looked up to you and this and that." And I was, I didn't expect him to be like, "Oh, good luck," whatever. But I thought he'd be like, "Okay." And he was immediately like, "Give me your card. I'll send you the stuff I don't work on. A, B, and C. Hook up with me." And as I said, and I'll wax poet about it. Alex has been just a massive, massive part of that. So Derek from Vana, being connected with Foothills from before, everyone was just super welcoming when I came in. So, not to get on a tangent here, but the point is, I don't know, it all kind of blends, because anyone I've ever met has off the bat been like, how can we help? How can we help each other?
Yeah.
And it's never been, how can I benefit X, Y, and Z? It's only ever been selfless, no matter who I met. Carson from Food Dog, Guillermo from Food Dog's now
That's
doing
the only
something.
way it actually works.
Everyone.
If you have an angle every single time you're trying to do something, it's just, you're missing the point, and it's just not going to be nearly as effective, because I want to invoice you for your angle. Now, if we're just going to help each other out and be friendly about it, I would much rather do that, man. Like, let's hold hands, let's kumbaya, you need a part I got, like, all that stuff. It's my favorite song, really. It's my jam. My shower loves it. But, I mean, like, that's one of my favorite aspects, because we've dabbled in a bunch of different communities, and the commonality is there's a straight-up community, and most of it's really supportive.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Oh, and Alex has been in it for, I'm sorry.
No, please, go ahead.
Alex has been in it for a while, that he's seen places come and go, so you've probably seen the common trends.
Mistakes.
I mean, right?
Yeah. And honestly, it's like, it is the guys that are out just for themselves. Like, obviously, we do this because we need to make money, right? Like, I think a lot of people also come in and they're like, you know, they don't realize this is like how I pay my bills. This is how I
that's right.
put food on my table and support myself, right? So like, there's that, but also like, I do enjoy it, you know? And I think the guys that are in it just to make a buck, they don't last.
Because for me, the legal side of it is also the vocation. It's like a vocation for you guys too. It is like, it's a passion. It's what you love to do. You happen to be really good at it, and you also want to make money at it. And those are all really important things. We unfortunately have to wrap up in a second. So tell these guys, this camera here, how they find you and what's going on where in the world.
VanityMotorworks.com, big on Instagram. Give us a ring. We got a shop in Lakewood and Aurora now. Listen to Hated, local band. They're the best of all time. Go see AK Cycles. They are, Vanity is nothing without AK, so.
And Alex, tell what's going on where.
We're over on 9th and Decatur in Denver. We're usually open, especially in the summer. We do vapor blasting, restorations, everything. And akcycles.com, we're on Instagram, all the stuff. Usual things.
Awesome. Thank you, boys.
Scott,
appreciate it. I'm sorry we got to be quick. He's got to go do this whole
fault.
Give awards out and stuff.
Apparently, there's a motorcycle show.
There's a motorcycle show behind us, but I mean, this is the end of our. This is our last podcast of the weekend, and it's just so important to me to express to you guys how important this community is, and how you guys and all of you. I think that's kind of why it's all blended. We're all kind of blended together in these different ways that it's just really important, and support it in all these different ways. And I just want to thank you guys for that.
Well said. There's a big enough pie for all of us to have.
Absolutely.
That's exactly
love pie.
My man.
Cake, not so much. Pie, all day.
I mean, I don't really discriminate. I say yes to a lot of those sweet deals. And this has been a sweet deal. I really have been very grateful the entire way for chasing the ride. My name is Dumptruck. This is Scott O'Sullivan, Joe, and oh man, I'm tired. I'm telling you right now. Alex. Thank you very much. It took me a minute. It came there.
We've only been praising him the whole time.
Complicated name. I don't know what my problem is. Don't judge. I heart you. Thanks so much for paying attention and for watching Chasing the Ride. It's
Cheers,
real.
guys.
Thanks, boys.
Awesome.
Thank you.